What up, guys? It's caseyisraw, and this is video game hunting, episode 6, part 3. I just finished up the third vintage stock, and I picked up with my coupon. I got Turok Evolution for the GameCube, and Time Splitter. See it, Time Splitter. I got that, and at the other store, the video game store, I picked up the Pro Controller for the Switch, but I believe I don't have the box anymore. I think when I first picked it up, I tossed the box because I'm like, who carries the box for a controller? Oh, apparently I should have kept it because I didn't think. Well, I paid $5 for that. So, I was also going to pick up the TurboGrafx 16 controller box. They wanted 15. I mean, that's not a bad deal. I just I'll wait until I probably this weekend to see how it goes. And I tried to show this off real quick at the episode 2, but this is Tom Clancy Rainbow Six Rogue Spear for the Dreamcast. So, and this is World Series Baseball 2K2 Sega Sports, and I'm thinking for the Dreamcast. I think 2K was actually a Sega property before they might have sold it off to another company to make it 2K. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm heading off to the final vintage stock of the day. This is one further away to go hit. It'll probably take me over 30 minutes to get to this one. So, and I can only leave it on here. I can only talk for like 20 minutes, 24 minutes, give or take 25. And, so, unless I find something real good, this vintage stock's been really hadn't had anything lately. It's been like they really hadn't had Jack in a long time. Yeah. So, I mean, the last time I went, I actually was able to pick up a couple things. But they actually had some new stuff. But, recently, I talked to one of the managers at these vintage stocks. I asked him a couple times before, like, hey, if there's some label damage on these NES games, is there room for a discount or come down on this price? And a lot of them says, yeah, because we know that people are going to be looking for these labels being met if they're going to be priced accordingly. Like, thank you. Well, at this one vintage stock, they have Bubble Bobble Part 2. I think they had it marked at $350 for over 2 years, and the label is just garbage. Label's trashed. And when I first time, it's been sitting there over 2 years now. And I believe I think at the time it was like $70 overpriced over a retail loose Bubble Wobble Part 2 goes for. Wow, this thing, the label's just trashed. No one's gonna want this one at full freaking price. The only time it's okay to get some trash label cart that's NES that can hold up to its value, it's the Nintendo World Championship. Because their labels can be trashed and still worth thousands of dollars just because of the game. You know when the game is really sought out for is when the repros can go for 100. The reproductions can go over 100. Luckily, I think I picked up mine for $70. I mean, I can understand that because, one, it doesn't even look close to the real thing. I believe mine either have a translucent purple case. And you know, if you're into the gaming scene, that NES cards are normally the gray cards. Very rarely they're a different color, like the Zelda Gold. I mean, you have the other ones, like the unlicensed games. Like you got Tengen. They're black, not in the same cartridge looking, the same looking cartridge at all. And these unlicensed cards don't even look close to a license in NES card. The color's not the same, and the cartridge don't even look the same at all. Goodness gracious, traffic's gonna be a nightmare. It's gonna be forever. Goodness gracious, don't even want to get off here. I need to. Damn it. I don't want to. But it's going to make the traveling a lot longer. I'm close to where I used to work at. Well, it's crazy. The good thing when I used to work at my old job, I could start from the furthest point where all the vintage stocks are, and then I can come towards heading back into town. While now, because in my new job, I had to go exact opposite. And I prefer start from the furthest point and coming towards home. But it just sucks that it's not that way no more. Even though I really like my new job. I mean, I tell my buddies all the time at my old job, it's like, dude, you guys gotta come here because all the problems I used to bitch about is no longer there. No, it's not there. And that's true. And there is a agenda against it as well, obviously, because the way how I got freaking fired is bullshit. I mean, I busted my ass for that company, and didn't get raised in 3 years at all. I never got a raise in 3 years, and that's what sucks. It's bullshit. I had one little accident. I've been doing this shit for 12 years and had one accident. So I think that's still pretty good. And the way how the shop is, and people park their vehicles where they shouldn't be, or customers would park their vehicles where can you put your so I'll be snaking the truck and trailer around, and I accidentally hit the truck. I mean, how tight area, like, they should never have customers and people pulled, unless they're planning not to be there that long. But the reasoning I got was bullshit. They said, oh, no one who has, anyone who has a CDL is allowed to drive the truck. And you do not need a CDL to drive the truck around company property. It's just a stupid reason because they want to make sure everything is insured. And my accident was insured. So it didn't really. It just made a little blemish on our reputation. But, shit happens. Obviously, I felt horrible about it. But, honestly, that was the big thing why. And plus, a couple of other people had accidents as well, but they like to use me as the reason. But, now I see why traffic's real bad. I guess there's a freaking huge accident. Oh, people are blocking the roads. Goodness gracious. There's a bunch of these guys that are just. It's like if you put me and these two guys are the size if you put me and Tommy together. Yeah, that big. These guys gotta be well over 500 pounds. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm overweight. But good God. I'm sorry. Now this is gonna make me look like an asshole, but back to my story. So there was one day I was repairing flooring inside a trailer, and the flooring was all the way to the front of the trailer, and we had our truck that we used to move the trailers around. Well, it was still connected to my trailer. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I wasn't allowed to touch the truck, but I assumed that they meant if I'm gonna move the trailer around, I just need to take the truck out, and all I did was take the truck from underneath that trailer and parked it. Because I did not want to because I was doing the flooring, I did not want to clutter the truck up with a bunch of wood, because when you're cutting the flooring out and I knock it through and I didn't clutter the truck, they used that as an excuse to get rid of me. Instead of slapping my wrist and say, hey Casey, you know you're not supposed to do that. I did not receive the write-up. They said, oh, I think you had a write-up, final write-up. I never had a write-up. So they fucking lied about that. And I believe because the company was heading down. Half the crew didn't really care about working. A lot of times, if it's real slow, I'll sweep up the shop, try to help around the shop a little bit until I get a job. Or if it's really looks bleak, that don't look like I'm gonna get something to work on, I was like, you know what? I have PTO time or some vacation time or something shit. I just take the hit like, I'd rather go relax instead of standing around and sweeping up the shop and taking forever just to get the day over with. And, while anyone else, they'll just hang around, hide, barely do anything. I would say probably give or take about half the crew. There's a bunch of good guys there, but then there's a bunch of fuck-offs as well. So, and that was one of the major problems I had with that company. And, I really think it's a couple of things why they did it. One, I was making too much money. They wanted cheap help. They didn't care of having anyone experience. What I do, I feel like it's a dying breed because, you know, I've seen people who can't take it, can't handle the physical of this job, or takes money to also. I mean, shoot, you have to, if you really want to be successful in this trade, or at least survive in this trade, you need to have your own tools, your toolbox, and people wouldn't mind to let you borrow tools. I'm one of those, I wouldn't mind letting borrow tools, but it seems like you're not going to put no effort to get no tools. I was like, dude, you can go to Harbor Freight and buy some cheap tools. I would tell you what to get and what not to get from Harbor Freight. And you can go on the tool trucks and you can get make payments on stuff. And I'm still making payments on tool truck right now. Even though I'm no longer at the shop, I'm still making payments. But, it just sucks that I pretty much got, and I got screwed. I hated that place. I wanted to quit. I wanted to find something better and quit. Or at least try and have them to give me a raise. Because that's what I was hearing. Anytime you wanted a raise, you had to threaten to leave to get a raise. Not a normal place where, oh, you've been here a year, we'll review you. Okay, or we'll give you 50 cents dollar raise, or give or take. Nope, this place wouldn't even bother to talk to you. Oh, well, we really think you should stay at this pay rate. They don't even say it. They don't have the balls to tell you. But I guess I could say the same. They could say the same thing, or people can say the same thing about me, because I didn't have the balls to go and ask for a raise. Because I figure you do the best you can do. You try to be the best employee as you can be. That raise should be mandated. But nope. You have to threaten to leave to get a raise. You can probably bluff to get a raise, but I never went that route at all. But a lot of people did. And so there's a couple times they're like, screw it. And then they'll let the person go, threaten to leave. And then they would hire someone worse. Like, we hired this welder. Oh my god, this guy sucked. He thinks just because he's a welder, he didn't have to do any other things. If there's a welding job, he literally thinks, do me a favor, go ahead and get this all mocked up, fabbed, and I'll do all the welding. I'm like, fuck you. I'm not gonna let you to do, and then you people probably think I'm giving the finger to someone. But the guy sucked. And recently I am starting to learn how to do aluminum MIG welding. I'm still getting used to it. I'm not great at it, but first, I only did it a few times now. I think I do okay. I'm used to doing normal MIG stick welding, but this guy, he was supposed to be a welder, and I saw his weld, like, oh my god, dude. And he didn't want to do anything else maintenance. Like, dude, you gotta learn how to do other stuff than just welding. I mean, there's not gonna be always welding jobs in this trade. Eventually, the guy got canned. He should have got canned for a different reason. No, I'll tell you. This guy apparently did. They were about to hire a guy for the third time. Well-known drug user. Nice guy, but well-known drug user. He went around. I think I had a doctor appointment at the time, so he didn't have a chance to ask me. But this guy went around the shop and asked for people's pee for their piss, because obviously he was going to fail. I thought the guy, I'd seen the guy before. I was like, he was skinny before. Now he's kind of gained some weight. So I was like, maybe he's off the drugs because he gained weight. Usually when you do whatever drugs, you stay skinny. But no. But he went around. Someone was dumb enough to like, yeah, I'll give you my piss. And I was hearing one of the other guys about to do it, but they let this guy did it. Apparently, the person who gives the piss failed. So he already failed the drug test. He says, well, I only gave them a little bit. He still had to pee in it a little bit because I only gave him some. Like, that's the stupidest excuse I heard. So I should have got fired for admitting to it. But no, they kept his ass until they drug tested him, and then they fired him. They should have fired him when he admitted to it, or at least suspended him or something. But when I got laid off, yeah, they used the excuse about me driving the truck, just moving it and moving the truck from underneath the trailer and parking it. Being a good employee. But they used that as an excuse to get rid of me. They waited till the very end of the day. I was ready to wrap up. To wrap up for the day, start cleaning up, and they're like, hey, Casey, come in here, I need to talk to you. I was like, I didn't think much about it. But the guy who told me, this guy barely even shows the hell up. Either shows up about 10 o'clock in the morning, or even right after I get back from lunch at 12. Then he shows up. But that's okay. But I really think it's because a couple reasons. Because, once again, I was paying them. They were paying me to what they thought was too much, even though I've been doing this stuff for now over 12 years. So to me, I earned my wage. And plus I thought it's interesting they recently hired someone Like, interesting. And then I came back the next day to get a few things, and locked a bunch of stuff up. So this shop was very notorious. If you're gone, or they'll either raid the shit out of your stuff, out of your toolbox, or they'll borrow your stuff and forget to put it back, even though they're not there. So I had to come back, get all the loose stuff that I couldn't lock up, and then lock everything up. And it took me a couple, 2-3 weeks to come back. And actually, right after I heard I was going to get this new job, I finally came back, went through a bunch of stuff, gave them a bunch of parts I still had, like bolts and stuff that I had in a little container. And I just left everything that was on them. I just left it on the ground. I'm like, fuck it. I'm not gonna put this away. They can do it. I'm not gonna take my time. They fucked me. There, I'm not putting this shit away. So, and then what's funny, the day after, when I went to put stuff away and locked up, I heard either 2 or 3 more new guys got hired on. And this place, what they love to do, they'll hire someone's parts person to put parts away, to go grab parts, clean up the shop, and then eventually we'll help this guy out. And then eventually they make that guy full-fledged mechanic when they really can't. And they'll give the full-fledged mechanic where they'll let the guy do inspections. I'm like, technically, I think the legal way, you have to be doing this stuff for at least a year to be able to do inspections on trailers. And when people come in and being parts guys, they have not have a year experience. But yeah, it's just wild. If this gets cut off, I'll tell you guys know why, because I'm headed to 30 minutes on this. But and a lot of times these guys will show up with no tools at all. So, and a lot of this, and you said, and I tell you, because I was saying I was making too much in their eyes, making too much money in their eyes, they hired these guys as cheap helps. And then, yeah, I was upset with the company because there's a bunch of bullshit was going on. They wouldn't take care of us at all. So, I made no bones about it. I hated that fucking company so badly. I'm kind of hoping that company goes down the ground because they don't deserve a bunch of the good guys who are there. Fuck that goddamn company. But that company really fucked up. And here's one of the things that's fucked up. I was told it was me and one other guy. We're up for bonuses. If you they had a point system that if you're having so much points, you still get this amount of money. I think if you got no points, you get $500 each quarter. But obviously they're gonna nitpick so they don't give you that much. I think usually I get like 300. Because usually it's because I have doctor appointments I need to go to, or I get sick all the time. If I have to want to, I can handle being hurt. I mean, I used to have back injury, But if I'm like sick to my stomach, or I'm having a really nasty cold, like to the point of like I have bronchitis, it's hard for me to concentrate. Like, I'll even work when I'm having the nastiest headaches, and I get headaches all the time. All the time. But here's another thing. What's funny, like a week or so before I got laid off, my foreman tells me I finally made over 1,000 hours there. And I looked at the list. There's a bunch of people at 800, 900 hours. I mean, a lot of people, there's some people that had good reasons why they're missing, because some people had some health issues. But then I looked at some of the people who did break 1,000 before me. 4 out of 5 of them really don't deserve it. A lot of them were just there fucking off, talking around. The only one beside me who deserved making those hours was the foreman. And he would stay there forever. But he would always come in and I'd be like, well, I hate coming in Saturdays. I prefer to have my weekends. I don't mind staying late for a little while, but if you're gonna ask me to work the weekend, if I'm gonna work the weekends, I prefer just doing a half day. And a lot of times I try to sneak out at the half day mark, because and try to at least salvage the day where I can go video game hunting. So here's the plan. If I don't find anything really good today at the very end of this at this finished stock, this is my plan. I got some doubles. I was going to use this at the video game store, but really didn't see anything I badly needed. So I'm thinking I'm going to do, I'm going to travel to an area called, that's a good hour out of my way. It's called Bartersville. That's in that area. They have a game exchange. It's a real good area. A very good store to get some good stuff. I've been getting some good. For a while, that was a gold mine for me. Now I kind of raided all the stuff I wanted. And it kind of, what's funny is when I used to and then if not, there's a video game store down there as well. Very good store. And I can hit the flea markets too. Because I still at least have my doubles. A few CDI games and other stuff. I got some knickknacks and stuff like that. I have doubles. But the only way I think it would be the end of it, if I can get this Bobble Part 2 for like $150. I can get that for $150. I'll probably say I'm done, because I already have paid for a lot of games. Ooh, damn. But I have a lot of games from for the Fairchild Channel F coming in, so I paid a decent chunk for that. If not, yeah, no. This doesn't really work out. I'll probably have flea marketing, and if I do, if it's by myself, I'll be doing a video, maybe with a buddy of mine, or my girlfriend wants to come on. I'll see if she wants to. Probably not. But thanks for watching. If I get anything, I'll either do a review going back home, or I'll just do a final pickups when I get back to the house. Alright, thanks guys, bye.